This wave of hate crimes against Asian and Asian American people in this country really upsets me. It does. I understand it's part of the whole Trump era, the rise of white supremacy, hate, the MAGA movement. I understand that. I understand it's part of a long tradition of racism in this country, but it still upsets me, right? And I know this is taking place against the background of a pandemic that our former president called the China virus and Kung flu and other really racist, horrifying things like that. But to the extent that this anti-Asian sentiment is permeating people who aren't avowed white supremacists and Nazis, I want to make an appeal to you to stop it and really think about it. And I know, bigotry can creep into our thinking, bigotry and prejudice, as opposed to white supremacy, racism, where you have to have the power to influence another person's life, or you are setting out to actually destroy an entire people. This kind of creeping bigotry, where we put up with jokes against a certain group of people, or we even participate in those jokes, where we buy into stereotypes of an entire group of people that are perpetuated by movies new and old, television, comedians, whatever it is, and of course presidents, right? So I just want us to check ourselves, because this is not okay. And it's a road that it's not funny, it's not okay, it's a road that we cannot allow ourselves to go down. And I know that a lot of people, are educating themselves about how to be an anti-racist. So let's talk about a couple of things. First of all, the internment during World War II of Japanese Americans, where actual American citizens of Asian descent were put into concentration camps during World War II because we were at war with the Japanese, and so for some reason we couldn't tell the difference between Japanese and Japanese Americans. And then you look at the Chinese Exclusion Act. This is something that passed back in 1882 that actually banned all immigrants from China. All immigrants. It's the only law ever to ban all immigrants from one place across the board. Blanket statement. Was in effect for 2.5 decades. And the reason I'm bringing these things up is because they are part of the foundation of racism against Asian Americans, of bigotry and prejudice against Asian Americans in this country that we have to confront. We've got to look at how they impact our own thinking so that we can purge our consciousness of this kind of white supremacist idea that can have a slowly creeping effect on otherwise sane individuals, or can be part of a broader and more violent, blatant, militant, domestic terror, white supremacy wave that we have going on in this country right now. So I want to challenge you to check yourself and purge yourself, ourselves, of bigotry and stereotypes towards Asian Americans and Asians. And I want us to remind ourselves that white supremacy, racism, bigotry, if you sign off on it against one group of people, on some level, you're really signing off on it against yourself. Yeah, it's time to be a true anti-racist in all 360 degrees of what that means for everybody all the time. I'm Dominique DiPrima, and that's my take.